everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. This is your basketball Week 14 episode. And I'm your host, Jake Gardner, alongside my brother, Zach.
What's up, everybody?
And you guys know the drill. We're going to go over surprises of the week, storylines, quick injury news recap as quick as we can make it, and then buy low, sell high trade targets, and then the grabs of the week, and just for the future of your league to win it. So let's jump in. Surprises of the week for me. So this was a little harder because basically all the stars were going off this week. They're just like everyone you thought would go off went off. But surprises of the week for me: DeJounte Murray, 53.7 average in the last 7. Derek White is out, but still, this is really nice to see him coming back strong like this. And Fernay Simons, 44.7 average. We've been talking about him for over a month now, on and off. He's heated up a couple times, but now Damian Lillard just had surgery, so it's Simon's time to shine here. RJ Barrett, 40.8 average in the last 7, so that's really nice to see because the Knicks were just on a struggle bus, and actually several of their players are picking it up.
Yeah, wow.
And we'll talk about them more. There's my mom in the background. Yusuf Nurkic, 39.1 average. It's nice to see because this is like what he did 2 years ago, was around 40.
Yeah.
He looked like a complete stud when he was traded. Maybe this was 3 years ago now, I'm getting old, but
3 or 4.
he was traded from Denver where they had Nurkic and Jokic, and they couldn't keep both. They kept Jokic, which was a smart move. And Nurkic went off, though, when he first went to Portland. So this is nice to see. Maybe he can keep it up, or if he goes to a new team, I mean, he might be in a better situation anyway, where he can put up more stats because this team's just struggling. And then the same team, Robert Covington, 37.3 average. This is like vintage Covington, and kind of we'll talk about him more. It could be. We'll talk about him more later in the episode, but it's nice to see because he's a guy who gets you every category if you're in a categories league. So he's a real stud to have.
Yeah,
when he's hitting. So yeah, that's surprise of the week for me. Storylines. I only have a couple this week because seeding kind of stayed the same. There was a little bit of drama that I want to talk about here. Would the Grizzlies and the Lakers be like the best first round series ever? After all this, they've had trash talking. If you've been just an avid NBA fan, in multiple games this year where they've played each other, they've been like going at it like already like they're playing playoff basketball in a way. Like LeBron's getting into it too, even though LeBron usually is good enough to put up big numbers, but he knows when to turn it on and off when it's the playoffs. But when he's playing the Grizzlies now, I think he's taking it personal, and they're going at it, and obviously Ja Morant's always talk shit. And it's just like a really good young team, basically, versus the old duds.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be the best series ever? Or?
One of them, yeah. It's going to be very entertaining, for sure. A lot of drama in it.
Because you think about it, Jaren Jackson Jr. is developing, so it'd be him on Anthony Davis. They'd be blocking each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be the defensive beasts, big men. Desmond Bane, I don't know who's going to... Westbrook would be in him, I guess. Those would be the two guards, and then I don't know. Yeah, Ja's obviously the X factor for the Grizzlies because they don't have anyone who can guard him. Westbrook, I don't think can guard him.
No.
And LeBron's the X factor for them because the Grizzlies don't really have a good, strong small forward.
Yeah.
So they have Kyle Anderson.
But it's gonna be very fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be all over watching that series for sure.
I was thinking they would be a lock to be the 4 and the 5, but now the Lakers have hit a little skid. But it's only like they're a game back, but they're like the 6th seed now, or they're still the 5, I think. And then the Grizzlies have moved up to 3.
Wow.
So can the Grizzlies stay there? I mean, they're they're young and good enough to not have to rest players, so they could just keep playing all their young guys 35 minutes a night.
I think as long as no one gets hurt, I think they can.
Yeah, because Utah
playing really good basketball.
Utah fell off because they have been missing their
Gobert.
Defensive Player of the Year, or 3-time Defensive Player of the Year now.
And
or is it
they're 20 and 15
guy. They could retake it. It's just the Grizzlies are like the fun team this year.
Yeah.
That everybody wants to check out.
But once Gobert comes back, Utah will be fine.
Yeah.
The freaking Donovan Mitchell is going off the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just insane. He started slow, but he's Definitely worth where you drafted him now at this point.
Mm-hmm. And then real quick, storylines, are we going to talk about the Bulls' first kind of bad skid where first time we've been like worried.
But
But
it's only because of injuries. They're gonna get guys back, but they're gonna
yeah,
fall off. They're gonna fall off
the
here.
one.
They're gonna
We
fall
still have the
off.
one, but now we're tied.
We just got to see how far they fall before guys come back.
We have the tiebreaker over the Nets.
Yeah.
But yeah, they played the Warriors on Friday, and we were basically wait, or was it Thursday? Anyway, that was the first game we lost, and they blew us out of the water.
Yeah.
Next game was the Nets, or the Nets were first, but they also blew us out. And so first game was the Nets, they blew us out. Second game Warriors,
And they
we
lost by
lost
1 point.
Levine in mid game to
Yeah, to the
Warriors.
Warriors. To the Warriors. They lost Levine. They
Yeah,
lost big to the Warriors.
yeah, and then yesterday was Boston, who is also their record doesn't show it, but they do have two like all stars, so they beat us up when we didn't have Levine.
And we only lost. They only lost by 1 point. And Lonzo didn't play last night either.
Yeah, he was like a late scratch with his
Yeah, a little knee thing.
sore knee.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little worried that maybe we could lose a little bit more, but
Caruso's coming back, I think, this week. But
yeah,
they're obviously going to be missing
you
Levine
do
for.
need Caruso back though because he was a steals leader before he
Yeah.
left. He's been out a month. It's been a long time. But yeah, let's get into some actual fantasy basketball.
Yeah, let's do it.
Injury news. I'm going to run through health and safety protocols as well as regular, injuries. Zach, stop me if you want to talk about any player.
Okay.
So health and safety protocols: Marcus Smart, Kelly Oubre, Alex Caruso, Kristaps Porzingis, Will Barton, Frank Jackson, Karis LeVert, T.J. Warren, Luke Kennard, Justice Winslow, Steven Adams, Grayson Allen, George Hill, Isaiah Roby, Tyrese Maxey, Norman Powell, Damian Jones, Derek White, Rudy Gobert, Bradley Beal.
So Gobert, is his injury over and he's still he was in the COVID protocol. That's what took him out the whole time.
I believe
He
so.
tested positive, right, for the
I think
virus.
he's almost back
So
though.
he'll be back soon.
Bradley Beal, this is his second time
Yeah.
on the COVID list in
Right.
like a month.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Mm.
But yeah, man, Gobert in the 12-team league, dude.
Yeah, but my team,
In the 12-team league, I got three of my first four draft picks on the IR.
yeah, you need Gobert to be able to. You still pulled out a win by streaming last week, but
Yeah, but this week it just
it's over.
no. Yeah.
Okay, at least you got one without him.
Yeah.
So regular injuries. Here's the big news: Damian Lillard had surgery on his abdomen, which we've been talking about. He finally did it. He said he felt great after. I mean, a lot of players say that though. That doesn't increase the timeline or anything. So,
Yeah.
and Fernay Simons we'll talk about, but he's the guy.
Yeah, because I was wondering because he was basically spelling Lillard and getting a lot of playing time because McCollum's been out. But
Mm-hmm.
McCollum's coming back this week.
Oh, is that an
And
update? I didn't see that.
yeah, they were talking about bringing him back last week. He could have come back, but he had his wife was giving birth last week, so
Okay.
he just decided not to play till this
So
week.
he'll be back. So that might take away a little bit.
It'll take away a little bit, but if he's going to just be the starting point guard for a while, then it's not really going to change anything. I
Yeah.
don't. But McCollum might just take away some minutes. But
Some shots, but
yeah,
Simons will still be good.
yeah.
Kemba Walker knee. So when they had the MRI like a week ago, he had no structural damage. So it must just be a bruise, and he's still not back. So until then, we'll go over some grabs. Clint Capella ankle is out. Kevin Durant left knee sprain, did not return last night, so he left mid-game.
And there was actually an update that came across as we were getting this up and going before
Okay.
we started. I think they said that it will. I didn't see the whole article, but if we want to search it real quick, but
What is it?
I think it said something about an MCL.
Like a
Yeah.
sprain or tear?
I think it was tear. I'm
No
gonna let
way.
you keep reading through these, and I'll come back when I find it.
Okay, well, Nick Claxton hamstring, he missed Saturday's game, probably not long term. Zach Levine knee, left Friday's game, which was a scare for everybody. But he had an MRI come back clean, so he'll be back. He's getting a timetable together with the doctors.
Breaking news.
Okay, let's hear it.
Screen. MRI, Kevin Durant has been diagnosed with a sprained MCL in his left knee, so they're thinking 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's still like kind of a relief though.
It
If it
is
was a
not a
tear
tear.
and you're an owner in fantasy,
Yeah.
it's game over. That was like your second round pick or first round, depending on how big your league is.
hmm
Wow.
So
Okay.
that's
I'm glad we got that news as we're doing the podcast.
yeah.
Lonzo Ball, like we said, knee soreness, missed Saturday's game. So
He's been having that on and off, right? This
yeah,
year,
they're just being
this
careful with
couple.
him. I think we have a good trainer team, so we get careful with our guys. We know we're going to the playoffs. We want all our studs. So
Yeah, I think they're
especially our
just.
defensive guys.
I think now they're going to be relying on Lonzo Ball. And I think that they don't want to put him right into a bunch of minutes. I think they want to ease him into it. That's probably why they gave him a night off
Yeah.
to prepare. Probably.
Yeah, dude. Gary Payton, questionable for Sunday. And that one's important because Steph Curry right hand is ruled out for Sunday, so maybe Gary Payton would be a stream tonight. Draymond Green, calf, missed past 3 games, and just not really a timetable. They basically ruled him out for those 3 games he missed before they even started. So it sounds like it could be another week. Malcolm Brogdon sore at Achilles, missed Friday's game.
That scares the freaking shit out of me, dude.
Uh,
Sore Achilles.
let's talk about him more in a bit here. Anthony Davis knee will be evaluated next week, so he's close. Bam Adebayo thumb targeting Monday return. So we've been talking about his return for a little bit.
So, are we keeping our shares of Omar Yurt 7
I think you keep him
for a
because
little
he
while?
could still get 20 minutes off the bench. If he could still get 25 minutes off the bench, he's still a good
Do
fantasy
you
player.
think he has played himself maybe into still staying in the rotation?
Wait, he was the now he's definitely the second string center because the other guy sucks. What's his name?
The veteran guy,
Yeah,
bouncing around for years.
of course we're blanking,
Yeah,
but
right.
he's not good. So I would try to keep him and just have a week long leash, I guess.
Mhm.
See how he does. I mean,
Well,
otherwise pounce on a guy that's coming up. Drew Holiday missed Saturday's game with an ankle injury. Rashawn Holmes' conditioning is questionable for Sunday, so they've just been getting him back in. Jacob Pulte back, missed Saturday's game against the Clippers. Scotty Barnes' knee missed Saturday's game. So that's injury news.
news.
Let's go into trade targets. Buy lows. At first, I was struggling to find some, but I think I got
Then you found some.
creative here. Julius Randle, 34.3 average in the last 7. He's way underperforming from last year. I feel like
I'm feeling a little better about my off preseason take. That feeling a little better now about Jaren Jackson being last year's Julius Randle. I feel a little better about it. It didn't start off so
he's
great.
not as good as Randle last year.
Not as good as him last year, but he's still. I think he's number five power forward right now in our league.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Julius Randle, though, if you can get a trade done, I think he could have a big second half.
Oh yeah,
He's way under. This has been the worst week for him. I don't know. It's just not who he is. He's better than this.
are they doing something different than they were doing last year? Where are they giving him less minutes? Like, is something? Or is he just
right
in
now
a
it's the same
funk?
team? It's because the team's not. Well, they actually are in a 3-game win streak, but they haven't been doing good, so that means everybody's stats go down. But is included. Last year they were winning, so they're putting up bigger numbers.
Yeah, but I don't know. It seemed like he was the guy. Like, is he? Are they
Yeah,
trying
he
to
was
do
way
more?
better
Are
last
they
year.
trying to do more team
He was
ball
an
stuff
all-star
now?
last year. He's not an all-star this year. So
Yeah, it's just weird, because he is.
I expect to bounce back.
His career stats are higher than what he's putting up this year. Like,
I don't know about that. He's almost at 20 points,
okay,
almost 10 boards, but still it's lower.
yeah,
Franz Wagner, 29.1 average in the last 7, and his numbers are down. And I think he could still be rookie of the year. He just had a bad kind of week and a half skid here. But see if you can get your hands on him. And that might be a cheaper trade, obviously, than Randall.
Mhm.
Karis LeVert, I want to try and get him before Indiana blows it up. Like, if he's the last guy left, he's the guy you want. And if he's on a new team, like a struggling team, and he's a key starter, I think he'll still do good.
Yeah.
This team's been struggling. And then same
Especially
with
if we trade some guys away, maybe if he stays, he'll get more time.
Malcolm Brogdon, who can you add him to the sell high list? We'll talk about him, but he's kind of taken over
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon's early season role, where Karis LeVert early season was just the second fiddle to him, or basically like the fifth best player after. But with Brogdon out, he takes over all those stats.
And with Brogdon having a sore Achilles, are they going to be putting him back into that role?
Yeah, it's a little worrisome. He was out a while with it, and now it's sore, and he missed another game.
I just remember Kevin Durant having a sore Achilles in the finals, and then look what happened.
Yep, hard to play. Miles Turner, same thing though, 26.1 average in the last 7. And if they blow it up, he'll be great on any other team. I think they would fire him up, and he gets you blocks.
Could he go to the Bulls? Play power forward.
No, we don't want that.
We don't want that?
No, we got a good thing going with Vooch.
Okay.
For our offense, I think he would slow us
They
down.
need size. I don't know.
He would slow us down though.
Okay.
And he would have to be a bench center. Then he wouldn't be worth it for fantasy.
But he couldn't play power forward?
No, he's bigger. He's taller than Vucevic.
Okay. Well,
Blocks guy.
gotcha. Well, could
They would
Vucevic
split.
play power forward then?
Yeah, but our coach likes to play small ball.
Okay.
I don't think it was him.
All right. Well, that's just
But
throwing stuff out there.
yeah, no, we need a power forward. We need to go get Bagley.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Conley, 24.5 average in the last 7. And he's usually around 30 or higher than that. You know, he's the number 2 guard on Utah. So,
Yeah. The ageless wonder.
yeah, I expect those numbers to go up. See if you can get him, and that might be a cheaper trade too. Then
Yeah, I actually might be putting something in. Like, do you think it would be a good trade to trade Brogdon for Conley?
we'll talk about that and sell high, but I think you might want to get anything for Brogdon at this point before he might be out for the season.
Right.
Then he's just a
I'm
drop.
starting to feel like I did a couple years ago when I had bad vibes about who was the shooting guard that was on Indiana that was having a great year?
Jeremy Lamb.
No, he's on
Lance
Orlando.
Stevenson?
He's on Orlando now. No, he's like a very super athletic guy.
Terrence Ross.
I'll come back to it when I think of it.
Oh, TJ Warren.
Nope.
He's still in Indiana. Okay. Zach Levine. His numbers were down before the injury. I want to see if I can get him. I mean, not just because I'm a Bulls fan, but he was near 40 average in the points league, and his numbers kind of come down to around 36. And now he's got this knee sprain or just bruise, and I think you should try and get him with. Try and trade Brogdon for him. You know,
Yeah.
like that. John Collins' numbers are way down, 22.3 average in the last 7, maybe his worst week of his career.
Jeez.
I'm trying to get him stat because he can.
Yeah, I might be
his average in the year is like 34, but he can raise it.
putting a trade in for him.
Mm-hmm. Mo Bamba, he's in a big slump. It was kind of his breakout first couple months, but what was he at for you? Like 35, Zach?
Yeah, he was up some weeks even higher than that, but yeah, averaging probably like 35, 36.
Now his numbers are down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he could have a bounce back, and you could probably get him cheap right now. He's probably worth not much. I mean, right? He's not doing anything. Is he being dropped? Been looking at him.
Yeah, but I got to keep him in our 12-team league because I got absolutely.
Well, you got to in that league, but
yeah, I'm gonna look at him, pull him up right now. He has been dropped about 4% this last week.
okay.
So his average is down to 29.4. He was up to like a top 10 center. Now he's down to 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
I think it'd just be a cheap trade. Like him and Mike Conley are similar to me.
would you maybe trade him? Would you trade Mo Bamba for John Collins? Would that be?
That won't be doable.
That won't be doable.
John Collins is still doing good. He's just had a bad week or so. You want to trade probably one of these sell highs?
Okay.
I would send Brogdon for John Collins right now.
Gotcha.
Do it. Other Zach has him.
Yeah.
In that league, but anyway, if you can't think of any other buy lows, we could break into sell highs.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Omer, you're at 7. Obviously, he's been a beast for several weeks now, and he was a must grab last week. But with the news of Bam Adebayo coming back, I think it's time to it's probably your last chance to sell high before he either becomes just your average bench player or a drop. So if you could package him with anybody and get a trade done. I mean, if you could trade year 7 right now for Mobamba, I would do it because Mobamba's a starting center, and year 7's about to lose that job, and that might be doable because those are two like lower tier guys. So that'd be a great move. Terry Rozier, 42.9 average in the last 7. He's not a 42 average guy. It's just not how it is. Team's been going off, he's been going off, but he's more like where his on the year average is, which is around 30. Um, and he's same with categories leagues, all those numbers are boosted. So I would sell high, see what you can get. If you could turn him into Levert, I would, because Levert I think is going to start taking over those duties, like we said of Malcolm Brogdon. Or if you could trade him for Wagner, if you believe in Wagner, do that trade. Because Rozier isn't the main guy, where Wagner and his team is the main guy as a rookie. RJ Barrett, 40.8 average. We talked about his horrible 2-month start. So seeing this and knowing his history of like slumps, would you try to sell high?
Definitely.
And people obviously would be a little more hesitant, so it doesn't have a huge amount of value, but just because his numbers are up, you got to see what you can get.
Yeah.
Yusuf Nurkic, talked about him as a surprise of the week, 39 average in the last 7. I would personally sell high
I totally agree with you on this.
because of his injury history,
Seems like I've never had him, but he seems like a frustrating guy.
slump history. He's only had like, well, when the year he was traded, like midseason, so he's only had, and then the year after was when he was beast mode. So like there was like a year and a half of greatness from him. In points leagues, he was around 40, but he's just never reached that again. People have drafted him to hope that he reaches that. He's around that last week, but yeah, the team could blow up. He could become a bench center somewhere, and there's a lot of scenarios where it doesn't work out, especially with his injury history as well.
Yeah.
I would see what you can get. If you could turn him into John Collins right now, I would do it in a second. Because yeah, Nurkic, he's had a up and down season, but he's still his average on the year is like 30, so around there. Robert Covington, it's just he's a throwing piece. Everybody knows he's not a stud, but and I put points, not categories, because categories you want a guy like that because he gets you blocks and steals. He gets you basically every category, every stat, and that'll help you win your week. But he's still sell high in those leagues if you think he's going to come back down to early season form. But right now, points leagues, I would sell high just because of the same thing as Nurkic. Team could blow up. He'll be a bench piece somewhere. Where right now he's like the starting small forward, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of reasons. He hasn't returned to like that one of the best two-way players in like 4 years, 3 years minimum. So he used to be a great guy, like steal in fantasy because he put up all those extra numbers. But yeah, I don't think he can keep it up. Mitchell Robinson, I want to know if he's for real now. 3 double doubles in a row, 36.6 average this last week, best week of his this year's fantasy.
Finally, huh? We've been waiting for that for 5 years.
Yeah, this is only his 3rd year, I think.
I'm joking, but yeah.
Second, but
Yeah.
yeah, is he a sell high or is he like a guy you would grab if he's only 60% owned? Definitely grab.
If you need center, I would maybe try and get him. But if
Yeah.
he's like your third center or something, maybe try and trade him.
Yeah,
Maybe you can get something for him now, just a little something if you need. If you're short on like shooting guards or something, trade him for.
believe in Mobamba more. Trade him for Mobamba.
Yeah.
Those are like the same tier centers right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
If you could package him with somebody to get Collins, do that.
Hell yeah.
So apparently there's, well, now with this Kevin Durant news, changes this take. There was hope Kyrie could play every game this season from ownership and just
But
around the league.
that ownership might just pay the fine and have him play it and have him play the home games.
Yeah, and
I was listening on the radio. They did the math. It would only cost the Nets for all the home games left from now until the end of the season, not including playoffs, of course. From now until the end of the season, all the home games, they would pay about $92,000 in fines.
mm-hmm.
That's like walking around money for an owner. They would
Yeah.
drop that in the bucket, no problem.
Okay, this changes this take. I was saying they could still rest him because they were resting like the stars recently, like James Harden, him, and Kevin Durant. But now they need him to play because Kevin Durant's injury.
So they're
So
probably going to pay the fine and have.
yeah, throw this takeaway. It's trash. I was still on
It's a
the
good
sell high
talking
train,
point.
but now it's just Kyrie and James Harden.
They're going to need him.
Are
Yeah.
going to be playing small ball the next month and a half.
Yep.
So he's probably going to be going off, honestly.
Yeah.
But he might actually be a buy low because his numbers pretty weak. He had a really good first game, which was still only like 35 fantasy points in a points league, and then kind of a weaker couple games.
He didn't do much against the Bulls.
Yeah, I would try to trade. He's getting himself back in shape.
Yeah.
Like conditioning shape.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in better shape than like you or me, but not NBA shape.
I don't know,
so
dude. I'm kind of a Greek god over here.
I've been training to be O-line. But yeah, we're gonna throw him back into buy low now because that Kevin Durant news. I would try to snag him right away. He could win you the next month and a half alone.
Yeah.
Going beast mode. Obviously, you have to have a somewhat decent team. But yeah, I might throw a trade over to what's his name?
I don't know
Who has him in our league?
Is it Zach?
No.
I don't know. We'll find out later. But yeah.
Barrett. I think I put him in. I meant to keep him in buy low. Never mind. He's not a sell high.
Oh.
I guess it, you know,
He's just the guy that you're saying to trade for.
Two schools of thought, though. Like, would you sell high on him though if Malcolm Brogdon you find out is for sure coming back? That's the thing, because then Karis LeVert kind of becomes the kind of rough player, droppable player.
I don't know. I gotta have Malcolm Brogdon prove that he's healthy and can play 30 minutes. Like,
yeah, I'm worried too, dude. I think it could be Achilles surgery.
I was thinking of Victor Oladipo.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was the Indiana star for.
Yeah, and I pulled off. I had bad vibes just because he was like at that time he was like their best player, or one of their best players on that team.
Yeah.
They had a game where the team literally they scored 150 points in a game, and he only had like 2 points in that game. And there was like stuff talking about how he was like resting with like knee soreness and stuff for like a couple weeks before that. He has this game where they score 150. He only scored 2 points, and I started feeling like, oh boy, I should try and trade. And then I got a trade off. I can't remember who I got, but it ended up being a good trade for me. Mm-hmm. And then literally right after the trade went through, the next game he tore his ACL.
Oh my god!
So I got it right away.
At that end of the deal,
I think it was like Keyshawn or something.
Damn,
yeah,
that sucks. Yeah, I was trying to get a trade done with him just yesterday for Bam Adebayo.
Oh,
with the news Bam was coming back.
Okay,
didn't happen. He's like, I can't get rid of my top center.
Oh yeah.
Let's break into scoops though.
Scoops.
So must grab is Anfernee Simons, which we said 44.9 average in the last 7. He's only up to 30% owned even after the last week.
Well, Garden Sports the fact he's going to be up to 80% by next week. Everybody's listening.
Last week we said must grab too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's up higher. He was only like 15% last week.
He should be way more.
Yeah, I was still able to get him in this Yahoo league I joined.
I've been watching his highlights, man, and it's like Dame Jr. out there. It's
for the threes, really?
Not the threes, but like just like his moves to the basket. Very he looks like he could be a starting point guard like on any other team. Like looks very good.
For sure. Yeah, he's the guy that could win you your league at this
point.
If Dame doesn't come back this year.
I had him at the beginning of the year.
He wasn't holdable
as a streamer.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get him back.
I streamed him once too. I streamed him. We talked about him about 5 weeks ago as a grab when CJ went out. So it might have been a month and a half. But
I was choosing between 2 guys to drop, between Simons and Devin Vassell, because I kept streaming them. And I chose Vassell to keep.
Yeah, you're stubborn with Vassell, dude. I keep telling you, you could drop him, and you're like, I don't know, I like him.
I like him. He'll have a 130-point game next week, and I'll be like, hell yeah, he's so good.
You literally just did what I said. I like him. Right. Patrick Beverly. We had to keep talking about him because he's still not owned. 29.6 average in the last 7. His average on the year is like 27. Categories, he's got to be a great player to have because he's putting up the blocks
At
and
the very
steals.
least, he should be like he's like the best worst player on a fantasy team. Like,
Yeah, he's
you know,
almost near 30.
yeah.
You know what you're gonna get. That's hustle and pretty good play right now.
Defense, he's never gonna give you nothing the way he
Yeah,
plays. So
it's true. 17.5% owned. Go grab him.
yeah,
Brandon Clark. Um, I put finally kind of form, but he's a little down. 27.1 average in the last 7. 40% owned. It's just he's part of that Memphis team that's doing really well. So, and all their big men are kind of getting some of those stats. So I think he's a good guy to grab who could be a bench piece, just kind of like Patrick Beverly. Jared Vanderbilt finally came back from COVID. 35.5 average in the last 7. So I think he's been back 2 weeks because he's on our last week graphic. But 20% owned. He had a huge game for you, Zach. You had him. It's like a 50-point fantasy game.
yeah,
So he's the fourth best player on that team, and he's able to contribute at a very high level. He's a starter. I think he's a great bench piece to have. So
yeah. He
mhm,
I picked him up out of necessity because I needed somebody, and now he could be a hold the whole season. Like that doesn't happen too much in this very competitive league that we're in. I
yeah,
got lucky with that.
yeah. Alec Burks, while Kemba is out, average 34.4. He's only 18.6% owned. He's just like a must stream until Kemba's back.
Mm.
And every game, it's like they're ruling out Kemba decent amount of time before tip off. So I don't think he could miss another week. We don't really know. So Alec Burks is a great stream. Malik Monk, 26.1 average in the last 7. He's a deeper team grab, 12 team probably. But he's the shooter on the Lakers team, and they need him. Robert Covington, if he's available in your league, I know he's like 60% owned, but we talked about his average all day here in this episode. But going off right now, see if he can maintain it.
Yeah,
Jayshawn Tate, 33.5 average in the last 7, 29.7% owned. Like 2 months ago, he was a must grab and he was going off. Then he fell off, and now he's maybe coming back to form. I mean, Jalen Green doesn't seem to be the guy that they thought he could be his rookie year, and they're more turning to Kevin Porter Jr., Christian Wood, and I think Jayshawn Tate may be taking that third spot.
that's
So
the rookie, right?
Jayshawn Tate isn't.
He's
Jalen
not.
Green is the rookie,
Oh,
but
okay.
he's not doing anything. So Jayshawn Tate is a good grab for a deeper league. Mitchell Robinson, if he's available, he's starting to heat up, 60% owned.
Okay.
I mean, he was a talk to be a grab for years now because of his blocking ability on top of doing everything else.
He always leaves you disappointed. Every time I've
This
had
could
him.
be the hit, though.
This is the third year that I've been dealing with. I did not. I had a quick hook this year because I had him for 2 years previous, and he just was always
This is
like,
draft year.
I
I
was just
drafted him.
looking at like, come on, do something.
No, I didn't even want him, dude. So I was about to draft Valanciunas,
Uh-huh.
which was, I think, the steal of the draft this year because he was in the hundreds.
You talked yourself into
No,
Robinson.
the guy grabbed him,
Oh,
drafted him right before me. So then, and I needed a center. I had like no centers. So the only one left with some upside was Mitchell Robinson. But yeah, Valanciunas is averaging over 40.
yeah,
And he
so
was a
low.
deep draft pick.
Yeah,
Steal of the draft, dude. DeAndre Hunter. So Cam Reddish is gone. And when Cam Reddish was there, they were kind of splitting minutes because they played kind of the same role of two-way defender and offensive player. If anybody remembers, DeAndre Hunter last year had a 2-month span where he was averaging almost 35 fantasy points in points leagues. He was going off. I mean, you would have owned him in categories too because he plays good defense. I think he could reach that again because now he's going to get those minutes. Cam Reddish is gone. He's not splitting. And other guys that split on that team, like minutes, are like Kevin Herter, who is a small forward, but he's more of a shooter role. Kind
yeah,
of different roles. So I think he's a must grab to see if he could turn out. And I grabbed him in the 12-team league. Somebody already grabbed him in our 10-team league, though, too.
yeah. Super Splash Brothers. What team's that?
Oh, Zach Sills?
Okay, yeah,
Maybe?
he grabbed him.
Oh, wow.
Well, he's
Okay.
a fan of Atlanta, isn't he? So he's all up
He's a
on.
Houston fan.
Oh,
That's
okay,
his favorite team.
yeah,
But he's just a big NBA guy.
yeah. That's a
I
good move on his part.
think he could reach him, and he's a good young player, and Atlanta needs to start heating up.
picked.
He could be part of that. And then,
Aaron Morrison just grabbed Bagley.
yeah, we'll talk about that though. Marvin Bagley could be a grab. 2 good games in a row. The last one is the one that's of note, where he scored almost 50 fantasy points in points leagues.
Yeah, went off.
But like we just said in the injury news, Rashawn Holmes wasn't back yet.
Mm-hmm.
So is this for real, or is this them getting his trade value up? They're about to do it.
You're right.
Which would also be good if you grabbed him, I
Mm-hmm.
think, if he could start somewhere. I mean, where would he start instantly? Detroit? Houston? Chicago, he would fit into that.
He'd be great because he does defensive and he has offensive upside too.
Yeah, he's great.
He'd be a 15-9 guy in Chicago.
Maybe, yeah.
He'd
be good. I think he needs a trade for him to be motivated again.
We would probably have to give up Kobe White for that.
That's worth it.
You think so?
Yeah, we have a lot of guards.
He's starting to look.
Lonzo and Alex Caruso did that. That kind of pushes him out anyway.
Yeah, and it could be either Kobe White or Io that you trade for that.
Oh, I don't.
You like Io? Io gives you a little more defensively than Kobe.
Yeah, and he's just a good role player. White needs to be. I think he needs to be a starting caliber player, getting shots up because he's more of a shooter. Io's not a huge shooter. I mean, he does shoot decent.
He's kind of just an all-around guy, 3-and-D.
Yeah, it wouldn't take both, but
yeah, no, it would be one or the. They're talking about like one or the other to get us something trade, kind of like that done. But
we'll see. You never know with Sacramento what the hell they're doing, dude. So he's a grab right now, but they could not play him the next game.
Right,
they're insane. I wanted to go over droppable players. I added some more to this list. Mccall Bridges, I've been talking him up, saying you got to hold, you got to hold, you got to hold. I think at this point, you can drop him and watch him.
But that's the thing. There is nobody that is doing better than him on waivers in our 12-team league. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Dropped for a while, but if you were holding him, it's just time to let go. He's just really struggling, and the team's winning without him putting up numbers. So it's not like he's. I don't know, man. He's lost his role. I'd have to look into if Cameron Johnson is just taking his minutes more or what. I have to look at their playing time and rotation, but he's just not doing it, especially in fantasy. Jordan Poole, he's a drop with Clay back. I almost put Wiggins on here with Clay back because if you look at Wiggins' numbers since Clay's been back, it's been but you can't drop him because of his history, and he could still do okay. Jalen Green's a drop for Houston. Is just add him to your watch list. He's a super athletic rookie, but he's not doing it right now. Reggie Jackson, he's a drop. Clippers are on a downward spiral, and he doesn't just have Paul George and Kawhi to pass out to, so it doesn't look as good. Kevin Love's a drop. He had 2 weeks of renaissance, but now he's done.
You were kind of on top of that last week too, and now it's.
Yeah, I was saying sell high for weeks.
He's proved you right over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so.
There's no way he could keep it up. His legs are shot, dude. He's just playing out his huge contract they gave him after LeBron left. They just paid him so much money for no reason.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about this one because I actually did this.
Oh boy.
In a 10-team league. Zion Williamson, in certain scenarios, I think you could drop him.
Not in my scenario where I just am trying to stay alive.
Not in a deep league where there's nobody to grab, but the scenario where you can drop him is a 10-team league. Your IR spots are full. Mine are full, plus I'm holding guys that are out that are big names. And Zion has no news on coming back, dude. He just got an injection in his foot 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's no timetable. They said he's practicing in Portland, and they're overseeing it. They have a couple guys that are overseeing it from the Pelicans, but it sounds like it's just totally messed up, and he could miss the whole year. Unless he's aiming for after the All-Star break. But, yeah, if you have the IR spot, snatch him. But if you can't and you need wins, I'm starting to fall off in that league.
I'm finally looking a little better because McCollum is going to start tomorrow on Monday. Brogdon's back. He's been back this week, but he's not, he's on minutes restriction. But and then I just brought Will Barton back, and I just brought Gobert back. Gobert's starting tonight. So
okay. Wow.
So everybody's back except my column's just going to be back tomorrow. But yeah, so I only got Zion on my IR now.
Yeah, no, deep league where you have the room hold, but there's certain scenarios where you just can't hold them, and I had to let it go. I got Anthony Simon in that league, the guy who's actually playing and could play the rest of the year as a starter, where Zion might not play, and when he comes back, he might be limited minutes. But yeah, there's certain scenarios where you could think about it, guys. Zach, do you have any concerns this week? The past?
Yeah, Terrence Ross. He's been doing pretty good over the last couple of weeks.
Hmm.
Looking like a hold, just looking like a nice bench guy.
Yeah.
But he played 23 minutes the other night and only scored 5 fantasy points. Do you think that's just a one
I think
bad game?
his shooting streak is over. This is what he does.
So you think he might be a drop here?
You can give it like one more game, but this is seriously what he does. He plays like 6 or 7 games like this, like great shooter, and then falls off and then does it again in like a month.
Hamidou Diallo still looking like a hold, huh?
We could look at him. It seemed like he was falling off a little bit. He's still looking
Hey,
good.
Devin Vassell looking pretty good. Devin Vassell.
Diallo's deep league guy.
Vassell looking pretty good.
Derek White's out.
Looking pretty good.
Derek White's out too. Right now he's taking that over.
Okay.
But yeah, he looks decent.
And then Bogdan Bogdanovich, you think he came back from injury? You think he's a hold? He's been kind of
Day to day now, but yeah, Atlanta needs him if they're going to go on this run that they need to make playoffs.
okay.
They're going to fight for it.
Yeah.
Like we said, the East is better than the West now. Talent wise, you look at the teams that are fighting for a playoff spot in the East compared to the West, and the West is kind of a joke. Who's their 8 seed? Tell it to me right now.
It's something crazy. The East is a lot better.
You could argue the top half of the West is better. That's fine.
Top half, yeah.
Top
but
4.
The East is better overall.
Yeah, I mean the 8 seed is the Clippers.
And they're under 500, right? Like 2, 3, 4 games.
2 games under.
Yeah.
Lakers are under 500. They're the 7 seed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Eastern Conference, everybody in the playoffs has a positive record, and the 9 and the 10 have a positive record. The Celtics are the 11 seed, and they're 500. Like, it's more competitive. It is what it is. Anyway, get off my horse. But yeah, Bogdan I like a lot for a 12-team league.
Okay.
Because he's a starter, so some nights he's going to put up decent numbers.
Yeah, and then we talked about Zion, which was one of my biggest concerns. We mentioned that, so
I'm kind of if I was in your situation in the 12 team where there's nobody to grab, then it's not worth it because you can't grab anybody. But
yeah, and the same thing, like Reggie Jackson. Like I know you said he's a drop, but like there's nobody better than him out there.
Yeah, I'd say for you need to trade Brogdon's stat.
That's what I'm doing. I was in the middle of doing that earlier.
Collins right now.
Yeah, I was trying to do that, but then I had to bring guys off IR, so I just haven't been waiting to get it.
Oh, you didn't tell me you're the 1 seed in this league, the 10 team.
Oh, the 10 team, yeah.
Wow,
dude, look at that. Let's just run over. Okay, I want to feel a little better about myself now.
Hey, Zach's gonna blow himself. Here we go. Go ahead, dude. Read it.
Yeah, so I'm pulling it up.
I'll read it for you.
Oh yeah,
John Morant, Josh Giddey, Gordon Hayward, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jaren Jackson Jr., Cole Anthony, Pascal Siakam, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Ayton, Herbert Jones, LeBron James, Jared Allen, Miles Bridges, CJ McCollum, Tyrese Maxey. And CJ McCollum's on the IR, and Tyrese Maxey was on the IR. He's got to bring him back, so he'll drop Herbert. But yeah, no, Siakam is looking like the steal of the draft because he fell, because he missed the first 2 weeks of the season. But you got him in like the 5th round. The same with me in the 12th. And dude, this might be his best year yet.
Yeah.
And I was potentially thinking about throwing him on sell high.
And then LeBron is he's playing like a 1st round pick, and I got him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, he was disrespected. We talked about that in the draft.
It started off right because he got hurt after the first week of the season, and he missed a couple weeks. But then he's been back playing great ever since.
Whoever got him in the 2nd round, we knew was a steal. He should have never been there.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
Yeah, he's
always been a 1st round pick. Everybody just like
my first 2 picks. I knew this was going to be a good season in this 10-team league because my first 2 picks were Giannis and LeBron. Like that's 120 points a game, but when they both start,
especially 2 top 5 players.
Yeah,
and then you got Giannis breakout year. You got
Pascal
Giddey
Siakam I got in like the 8th
breakout.
round.
Yeah, Siakam was a late. Jaren Jackson breakout year. Cole Anthony breakout year. Uh, DeAndre Ayton's always solid.
Jared
Jared
Allen was
Allen's
breakout.
it's kind of breakout because the numbers are up. He was around 30 before, but yeah, now he's up to around 40. Miles Bridges breakout year because before this year, Miles Bridges was really struggling. He was very on and off. It was like around a 25 average in points because he'd go off one night and then he'd be bad for 2 nights. That
Mm-hmm.
was his. Now he's a stud, dude. You got all the steals in one team. That's amazing.
Yeah, this team is like because I just look at this team so much. I look at my 12 team and think that I'm like terrible, but like that I'm running
Yeah,
that
you look
team
at that
pretty
league
decent too.
standings, and it's also tight.
Yeah,
Like we're all even.
like
Mostly the top two guys you could say are
I'm in a battle to make the playoffs, but we're all so close.
same. Oh, you're about to tie me. I'm about to lose. We're gonna be the same record.
Okay.
Let's go over the schedule real quick for next week to
Yeah.
close this out.
Yep.
So Tuesday games, Detroit Pistons, Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, New York Knicks. So we go over Tuesday, Thursday games because usually there's less teams playing, and if you can get a team that's playing Tuesday and Thursday, one player, you could stream a guy with one move for 2 games midweek. That's always something that can win you your week. Thursday games, Dallas Mavericks, Golden State Warriors, Indiana Pacers, Pelicans, Knicks, Suns, and then Tuesday, Thursday games, Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks. So, Knicks, you got to grab Alec Burks playing Tuesday, Thursday, and you could drop him if you don't believe long term. And then, what did we do last week, Zach? We went over Sunday games. Well, there's a bunch of teams playing Sunday, so it's not.
Yeah, last week there was like a light day on like Friday or Saturday or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was a little different last week than
Saturday is a light, actually. Saturday we can go over real quick. That's a stream day. Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, OKC, Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings. And then for the week, teams you don't want to stream. Houston Rockets only have 2 games. Pelicans only have 2 games. The Kings only have 2 games.
Okay.
So there you go. That's it.
There you go.
All right. Great episode. Hope you guys learned something and are going to make some good moves and good trades. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. And then just real quick before we go, you can obviously follow us on our YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
We upload every Monday during the basketball and hockey season for you to make your moves for the week. And you can also find us on our social media. We got Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We have Instagram, run by the lovely Bree Gardner. Instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And then we have Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. So yeah, everybody just look for us out there, and we're working on getting our website up and running, and eventually we'll be on Spotify, and we'll be everywhere. So just there's a lot of stuff happening, and we're just really excited to get it all going.
We're just getting started, baby.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. Love ya.
All right. See ya.